What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be looking at the best evolution cards you could currently get in FC24. So we haven't done this in a while and we have got a decent amount of evolutions currently available. So if we go into what is active at the moment, we've still got the FC Founders upgrade and also the Founders 2 upgrade. We have the Icon upgrade still, Team of the Year, Striker Prospect, Visionary, Unsung Hero. We have Centre Back Prospect, Legendary Comeback, Right Side Star, Wing Wizard, Double Plus Pursuit, and also the new Superpowers. So we've got a fair few. I must admit, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4... and then we got 5, 6, 7. 7 out of like the possible, I'm assuming what we got, 3, 6, 9, 12. That's a lot. We got 7 that are paid for evolutions. Now, in terms of where the cost comes for this, just as a little backstory with the obvious evolutions, I wouldn't really be looking at anything at 1,000. I think 500 is justified depending on what you get. I like that they've gone with the radioactive promo as well outside of the normal evolutions. I thought that might have just been for the radioactive promo, but that's really good if you are picking a Saudi league, a Portuguese league. We can have many different positions that really helps with that extra little chemistry bonus. So that's always a decent one. Teller's going to be a big kind of factor here. We're seeing as though we did get a complete glitched one where basically either you bought the silver, you got the 86 road to the final. If you bought the 86 in evolutions, you'd get a 98. I don't know how they managed to do that, but they did. So in terms of what do we want? So when we look at this and think, okay, so we've got 2 of them that are going to be icon orientated. We have got the legendary comeback, which is centre backs. You've also got the icon upgrade, which I believe is just any, I want to say. Pretty sure it's any position, but only so many get to fall into that. So they're kind of the players that we're looking at. I have not been a fan of these 2, to be honest. I must admit, Socrates looks decent enough in there, but it's not necessarily enough for me to say it's worth the 1,000 FC points or 200,000 coins. With the comeback one, I don't think this is worth it in the absolute slightest, let alone having to pay for it. The selection of cards is woeful, absolutely woeful. And with these, they were prior to the double play star plus. Since then, we have had 2 evolutions that are paid but do give you a double play star plus, one that actually does give you 2 and one that is a potential if you choose somebody with already a play star plus. So if we was to go down the list and kind of see the popular ones to start with, we're going to see a lot of obviously the superpowers, but I thought we'd go and have a look through all of them, to be honest. So with the FC Founder 2, that is going to be purely based on who your founder upgrade is. So that's going to be the biggest thing. I don't think we get anybody, or do we get somebody here? So this would be, is that right? Have I clicked on the right one? Let's have a double check. So the FC Founders 2 was max 85 striker. What would that not be in the popular though then? So I don't even know why it wouldn't be. We'll carry on. So if we go into the Founders, I thought that was the second upgrade to it. So I don't know why we haven't got anything in here. Very weird. But unless they've stopped them. Oh, okay. I get it. So this only works if obviously you've got the kind of in the thousands of people are looking at it. So that makes more sense. So for them, we'll go into here and kind of go through the cards that can have it. So with the Founders 2, we've got a max 85 overall, 94 pace. You can read. We get a 2 upgrade onto everybody. 2 pace, 3 passing, 2 dribbling, 2 physical, 3 shooting, and also a skill move upgrade. Now, the biggest thing with evolutions, I can imagine a lot of people, if you've done your first and maybe done a couple more, is you've realized the power of evolutioning somebody into another one is the big factor with any of these. They are absolutely massive. To go with like a Kolo Muani that could be upgraded once and then put into another one, that is a massive, massive factor. So it is kind of going to squiff the data a little bit because we are going to see a lot of the same cards also. So Kolo Muani was one of my favorites for this one, purely on the basis of going forward with him. Now with evolutions, there's 3 different ways of doing it in my eyes. You've got the first way, which is just picking your team. So if I went into here and thought, okay, I want any Manchester United player going, that's going to be my kind of goal, is to just go with any Man U players, evolutions, all of them. That's all I do. It's a great way, and I think if we had a less sweatier mode to actually do evolutions, I think it's a fantastic way of doing it. I know there's a lot of Road to Glories, a lot of kind of upgrades and different series on YouTube that people are doing. I think Nep does an Arsenal grind one, and it's really good to see a different style of kind of how to run a Road to Glory, and I think Evolutions has a big part in that. For instance, someone like a Martial, you could get him at like 84, 85, 86 by now, so you can get him to 86. He has no other cards, so technically that is going to be the highest Martial for quite some time. I like that way of doing it. The second way of doing it would be to just do the best meta players in there. So for instance, if I go into here, I'm thinking, okay, looking at a couple of informs, realistically for this one, Kolo Moana is going to be the number one shout. Then if I go into the double pursuit upgrade, I'm not looking at any other evolutions. I'm thinking, okay, if I go to the evolved, I'm thinking I'll go with the random best player you get. So if, for instance, you went into, say, Footwiz, what I would do is go into the evolutions tab and it would tell me the most popular. So I'd pick one of these basically. I knew it was Claude. He's going to be one of the better ones to go for. So that's another way. And then finally is going for the youngsters, going for the Joe Bellinghams, the Minus, the players that are in them silvers, and you upgrade them incredibly. So I don't know if we've got any popular votes of them, but we've already seen the first 99, we've seen 98s, we've seen triple and quadruple playstyle pluses with a little bit of technical work for there. It is a really interesting way to see how it goes. I don't know if we've got a big one in here that has got like the 96 vibe to it. I feel like they don't really class under here. But you can imagine, if you've been on Twitter, if you've been on YouTube, you see a lot of people who have kind of made them cards from a silver all the way up using multiple evolutions to go forward. So if we look at the FC upgrade, this is going to be one of the first ones. We've got to obviously have just 2 levels for it. Play 2, win 2, nice and easy. If we was looking under this one, why is there no one under this one? So we're going to have to go to Footwiz. It's going to just be a lot of backwards and forwards with this one. Has this got it on here, or is this the one that needs the evolution? So FC Founders upgrade, Rarity Founders Evo. How on earth is Okocha got in there? There's got to be somewhere that you could have done that. I don't know why there's eligibility players there like that, but that keeps moving. So if then we keep going, we'll have a look at another's. Kind of the icon upgrades I'll skip over. Not a massive fan of that. The team of the season prospect, so this is going to be another good one. You obviously have the max 85 overall striker position, no playstyle pluses. We do get 6 shooting, 4 aggression, 3 stamina, 3 overall in him. The power shot plus is the Playstyle Plus is going to be Power Header, and the best players you can get from this range from Jota, Immobile. You've got a Aubameyang that now we know, obviously the upgrade for him was an 88, so we can now make him also an 88, so it is kind of that same card almost, and it's kind of dependent on what you want to do. It's why I would always choose an evolution that is not necessarily going to get much upgrades. So if I'm thinking of a Minu, if I'm thinking of someone like a Martial, somebody with a potential position that maybe is good in game, you like the body style, the positions of him, even if he's got a good play style plus as well, it could be worth doing it. When we look at someone like an Alvarez, to be honest, I don't even know how to spell Alvarez apparently. When we look at him, he's got an 88 team of the group stage. He had an 87 Trailblazer SBC. You could also now go and get an 88 with the finisher. I know there's a couple extras that you could put on top of there. So you've taken him from one evolution to another. You are kind of putting that risk that he doesn't get that 92 upgrade, that 94 upgrade, which can work out really well. Same with Kvaratskhelia. To be honest, he's an absolute massive one that has got now an 89 honourable. He did get an 88 radioactive that's 270. But if you did do the finisher evolution, you could put him straight from his 86 to an 89 for about 100,000 coins, in comparison to putting 767,000 worth of SBC fodder. I don't know if I don't think his 88 could have gone up. But that's the game that you're playing. You're picking the players that aren't necessarily absolutely in the know. So if I'm looking at the gold cards, for instance, I'd be going down the list and thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to get an Mbappe or a Haaland anytime soon. But if we go down, maybe somebody like, so say we go to like page 3, we look at potentially a Trent. We look at potential for Saka if there was any sort of evolutions for him. That's going to be a good card to potentially try out. So you could make him an 89 with finisher, but he does have two 91s and he got one from the very start of the game. So instead, I maybe look at, for instance, if I go through Arsenal and I pick someone like a Martinelli. He did have a big upgrade for his winter wildcard, but we already could have an 87 instead of doing the 650k SBC. So then you are kind of just going with that one card. The next time that an available evolutions comes out, I can put him in again. Not saying it works every time, but most definitely it's a great way of doing it if you're picking players that you do like and you kind of going with the trend of them. Then if we go into the Visionary, this one did give us the radioactive link. So basically with that, it just gives them the extra bonus of chemistry once they're in this. If you was to say take this guy and put him into this evolution, later on down the line he goes up to a 91, but it changes the card type. That will change the chemistry bonus as well. So make sure that you are looking at that and thinking, okay, I'm picking somebody that may go into another evolution and may change again. The one thing I'd really like for something like this later on is, for instance, with the Team of the Year honorable ones, if I was to go and do her and then change the evolution later on down the line, I'd like to be able to change the card type back to the Team of the Year honorable rather than going with, for instance, an evolution 4 card. I'd much rather be able to pick almost the skin of what the card is. So if it's radioactive, it keeps that bonus. I think if it's already been that card, so if it's been an evolution, it's been a radioactive, it's been a Team of the Year honorable, I get to choose which one it's represented by. I feel like that would be really cool as an extra feature. Whether they do kind of explore that option will be a big one. Now with the Visionary one, we did get the Anticipate Plus, which is a massive playstyle plus. And in terms of the evolution cards, it is not necessarily the most prettiest selection. You have got players that maybe aren't the absolute meta yet, but taking them to an 89, for instance, like Dominicus, he's going to be great later on down the line. And that's something as well with the evolutions you've got to figure out is it's not just right now, but maybe in another evolution. Maybe you get a double playstyle plus with Intercept. That could really take that card from like a 5 out of 10 straight to an 8, potentially even a 10 if they break an evolution or something. We do have someone like Loftus-Cheek in this as well. Again, one higher than what he's already got. We did get the free evolution, for the free objective for his Thunderstruck, but he's already now got a better version. Granted, we have got a little bit more pace and shooting on it, but you've got to take them risks. If then we go into the next one.
If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders.
We have got the Unsung Hero. So this one was a plus 11 upgrade, which is always nice. You get the Playstyle Plus for the long ball pass. It is a paid one, like a lot of them, I must admit. 350 isn't necessarily terrible. You're looking at like, what, £2, £2.50. So it's, for me, the only thing at the moment that I'd say is 100% worth it for the right evolution. I'm not saying that you could do every single one. Like I say, the 1,000 on there is a bit expensive, but I would rather pay 1,000 FC points than pay 200,000 coins, as sometimes it's a little bit harder to get the coins unless you are absolutely minted. But when it comes to the Unsung Hero, if it was looking through again, we've got the likes of evolutions like Calvin Phillips, a great upgrade, a lot of 90s in this, which to be honest is going to be great for fodder at the minimum. Or you can choose potentially a Calvin Phillips and hope we get an evolutions that does increase that pace massively. As a 90 Phillips with obviously the passing, dribbling, defending, physical is nice, but the pace at 72 isn't going to be number one on that list. It is the highest version of him, which again is very nice. We add a shadow onto him. You're looking at 80 pace, 94 defending. It's a great CDM. Unfortunately, we just need that little bit extra pace to kind of have on that base version. With obviously the centre back, we've got a little bit more of a name coming through here. Maybe not the biggest upgrade as well. We get a +4 on the overall. Jockey is the playstyle plus you get for this, and it was free. So when it comes to the free ones, you've got a couple of options, whether you do it for, like I said, what I mentioned before, for your team, for another player that potentially could get a second evolution, or you do it for some fodder. We saw a Bernardo Silva, I think it was 2 games he had to do, or 3 games at a minimum. He goes from an 88 or an 89 to a 90-91. You've got free fodder there. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. This one could be the same. You've gone for an 85 Laporte, an 85 Stones. If you've got them in your club, you might as well have done it. at the minimum for fodder, because it's an extra 89 rated card that you've not spent any money on. You could still do your games in Rivals, sub them off, get the games done, and get the evolutions done. With this one, I'd say Stones is probably the better one, but the big thing was, it was the day after receiving this card. It's a bit annoying at times, but you spend 194k, the next day you get an 89, and he's had a few other options since then, but in terms of that one, it came at a bit of a low blow. Then I think most of these should be in the popular evolutions. We have got the superpower one. I must admit there's not too many to go here, but you have got the likes of Forlan, you've got Enzo, you've got Keen that can go into it, and it's a decent upgrade. It's the first hero double playstyle plus that we can get if they already had one. So obviously, like someone like Enzo doesn't have one, you can get the first touch on him, whereas if you've got Forlan who already had a power shot, you've got acrobatic, power shot and power header, there's quite a few that you can get a double. So this is where we have a look at some of the popular ones. These are going to be ones that everybody's either raving about or people are just looking at. It doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is doing it, but it does mean that there is some looking with it. Fellaini being one of them. Double playstyle plus from obviously the evolution, double plus pursuit. That one's going to be more for the lower rated player, but then also he has got that 4-star, 5-star, which is nice. Decent stats. Again, the only thing that's really going to kill him is the pace. That's just going to be a no-go. We have got a lot of the heroes because that did come out yesterday. Mason mounted an 89. Not terrible in terms of where you can kind of go with him. You've got the Centurions attacking mid and then cut inside to be able to get that done. And again, a very nice one for a card that doesn't get any sort of love when it comes to an outer performance based card. We then have someone like a Ferran Torres, not bad at all. Again, you're going to see a lot of these radioactives because they're just going to be lower rated players that have been boosted to the nines with like a plus 12, 13, 14. Elise is going to be a great example of a card that, yes, has got an inform, but we've got also the ability to take him to that 87. That is absolutely massive because realistically, he isn't going to get a 90 card anytime soon. So if the evolutions does fit the bill there, that is one to definitely be looking at. Havertz is the same, even though he's got a left back now. He is definitely going to be a nice one in that cam role if you are looking more of an attacker for him. Correa, great shout as well. Carl Walker just makes the kind of a little bit easier on the price because we look at the 86, still 470k, or you can go for the 87 evolution for keeping balance. You've got an 87 there for literally, I don't know if it's still there, but he was 350 points or 75k. In terms of what you're getting back there, it's absolutely massive. You're saving yourself 500,000 coins, the ability to just buy it with money if you really wanted to, or you can pay the 75k and get an 87 as well. It is a decent kind of offload that you really want, and I must admit you can use the normal coins as well if you really wanted to. Then we have the Aubameyangs. I like this card, but it is the same as the Player of the Month. So if you've already done an Evolutions, maybe that Player of the Month isn't for you at the moment. Bergwijn, Richarlison did get an upgrade, and same with Ansu is incredible. He's already been 85 from the very start, but now he does have a very nice road to the final. But again, that is going to be mighty expensive still. But if you did choose, for instance, one of these, you could get him to 85 at the minimum. That was right at the start as well. I bet there is a higher version if you did something and kind of did level 1 but not level 2. I bet there is ways to make some of the players higher. So that is something to always consider, but it is a lot harder to kind of get the records of them because otherwise there would be multiple ways of doing cards. If you did someone like a Malin, for instance, and got him to his I think he can get to 89 if you do level 1 of say finisher, then you go and put him in keep him balanced and get him to level 2, don't claim it. It's the way everybody's getting the double play star plus and triple and quad is by doing half of the evolutions, waiting for the expiry and then putting them in something else. So it is a way that people have been getting around making them higher, but they are looking at stopping that as much as they can. But there is only so many ways they can do that because natural progression is going to happen, like now we're getting the double play star plus. Other than that, I feel like the kind of evolutions we've got are very bog standard at the moment. I feel like there is definitely one coming that will absolutely blow the socks off the evolutions. I don't think there's one at the moment that's active that I'm like, yes, that is an absolute must. And like we said, there is a lot that is very expensive. I think the double playstyle pluses are going to be the interesting one to start with, especially when we look at something like this with the incisive and relentless, at least semi-decent playstyle pluses, especially the incisive pass there. But then it comes down to, is the player good? Body type, height, stats all come into question there, and whether they are actually going to be good at 89 or are they just going to feel like a gold common still. It's what a lot of the time the silvers feel like. They can go up to that 88, that 90 rated value, but they don't feel like a 90 in comparison to like a Sterling 90, a Martinelli 90. There's going to be different comparisons to body types. But in terms of what we've got, I feel like Alaba's always a great shout. Saliba, always great compared to what his price was. Dominicus is nice. Aubameyang. Some of the icon heroes you could argue, but again, I'm not really feeling them too much, especially when quite a few already have an upgrade. And with the heroes, there is going to be another hero campaign very shortly. Seeing as though we've had the Team of the Year icons, I can imagine heroes will be next. So let me know down below, who is your favorite evolution so far? Let me know what rating, who they are, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.